Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're zeroing in on something really fundamental, how we connect with each other through the questions we ask. We looked into some material about improving questions, particularly in American English, and found some, well, genuinely useful stuff.
Yeah, it really goes beyond just, getting the words right. The material highlighted why this is so important.
Right.
Great questions, they're not just for getting info. They signal you're actually engaged, you're curious.
That you value what the other person's saying.
Exactly. They keep conversations alive, Keep them flowing instead of just stopping.
Totally. And a huge takeaway for me was how much isn't just what you ask, but the sound of it, the pitch, the tone, that rhythm underneath.
Oh, absolutely. The sound carries, so much meaning. It tells people how you feel about the question and maybe about them, too.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack all that. We'll explore the main types of questions, how the sound matches your intention, that natural rhythm you hear in casual chat.
And some techniques native speakers use to kind of draw people out.
Exactly. Ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the basics first. The material breaks questions down into three main types we use all the time.
Right. And the easiest way to get a handle on them is to listen to how your pitch changes, usually right at the end.
First up, yes/no questions. So questions where the answer is probably just yes or no.
Yeah.
What we saw is these nearly always go up in pitch at the end. Like the example, do you like it? You hear that lift.
That upward tilt, it's a signal. You're looking for confirmation, basically. It sets up that simple yes or no expectation.
Then there are the why questions. Who, what, where, when, why, how.
The information seekers.
Exactly. And for these, the pitch generally falls at the end.
Yeah.
Like, where are you from? See how it goes down.
That falling pitch signals something different. You're looking for details, for the actual information, not just a yes/no. It sounds a bit more grounded.
Okay, and the third type, tag questions. These are interesting. It's like a statement with a little question tacked on, right? It's nice out, isn't it?
And what's cool here, according to the material, is they can go either way. Falling or rising pitch. It totally depends on what you mean.
How so?
Well, if your pitch falls in the tag, it's nice out, isn't it? You're probably just stating something you believe and expecting agreement. You're pretty sure it's nice.
Okay.
But if your pitch rises, it's nice out, isn't it? Now you sound genuinely unsure. You're actually asking for their confirmation. It's a real question.
Wow. Okay. That's a subtle shift, but it changes the whole feel.
Totally.
And there was that simple rule, right?
Yeah.
Yes/no questions, pitch goes up. Questions, pitch goes down.
Short, sweet, and pretty reliable as a starting point.
Easy to remember.
And, the best way to really get this is just practice. Saying examples out loud. Are you ready? What do you think? You've met her, haven't you? Repeating them helps tune your ear and your voice.
Okay, but like we said, it's not just the up or down pitch, is it? The tone came through so strongly in the material.
Oh, absolutely. Tone is where the feeling comes in. Your intention. You could say the exact same words.
Right.
Like totally flat, robotic, or with warmth and interest, and boom, they become completely different questions.
Yeah, that's where it gets really powerful. Take their example. Where are you going? Say it flat. You could sound kind of suspicious. Or just bored.
Implying something else.
But say with a friendly, maybe slightly rising, interested tone. Where are you going? It's suddenly genuine. Someone cares.
That tonal shift tells the listener everything. Are you asking because you have to or because you actually want to know? Your tone gives it away.
And the material had some great practice ideas, like taking what happened and trying it seriously.
Right.
And then playfully. Or did you see that trying it excited versus, say, annoyed?
It really helps you feel the difference, doesn't it? How that emotion changes the message, even if the words are identical.
Yeah. There were other examples for practicing adding emotion. How did it go? What are you working on? Do you need help? Toucan, can I ask you something? Getting that authentic tone in there is key.
Definitely. And building on that, let's talk about questions that really keep the conversation going. Not just facts, but inviting stories.
Yeah, the ones that show your interest in the actual experience, not just the headlines.
Exactly. The material listed some really good ones for this. Things like, what was that like? How did that feel?
What happened next?
Oh, that's a great one.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Or even, why do you think that is?
Notice how none of those are yes/no. They're wide open. They practically demand more than one word.
They give space for thoughts, feelings, the narrative.
Right. Like that mini dialogue example. Person A says, I just got back from a trip.
Oh.
And person B goes, oh, cool. Where'd you go? What was it like? What was it like? That's the key, right? It opens the door. Absolutely unlocks the story. And the advice was clear. Practice asking those with a light, engaged, genuinely curious tone. That's what makes people want to share more.
Okay, so tone is huge. Now, what about rhythm, especially in casual everyday chat?
Ah, yes. Reductions and blending. What the material showed is how native speakers often shorten or squish words together when asking questions informally.
It creates that distinct, sort of smooth, natural flow, doesn't it? Something people often do without even thinking.
Exactly. So instead of enunciating every single word, what are you doing later? You'll hear, what you doing later?
Or, did you see that? Becomes,
Did you see that?
Yeah.
How is it going? Turns into, how's it going?
right, do you want to come? Becomes, yeah, I want to come.
And are you going to eat soon? Often sounds like, gonna eat soon.
Saying those with that quick, blended, kind of relaxed rhythm, that's crucial for sounding natural in casual situations.
Yeah, putting them in context helps too. Like, what you up to today? What you catch the game last night? Or yeah, free this weekend. You're aiming for that relaxed, smooth, friendly vibe.
Which, naturally, leads to the contrast. What about professional settings? How do questions change then?
Well, the sources pointed out that in work contexts, you generally stick to more complete question forms, those casual reductions. Probably best to avoid them for clarity and, professionalism.
Makes sense. You wouldn't ask your manager what you think. Probably.
Probably not. But crucially, the material stressed that tone is still incredibly important. Even with formal words, your tone has to convey respect, professionalism.
And genuine interest, right. Not just going through the motions.
Exactly. A clear, warm tone builds rapport, makes things work better.
The examples for formal questions were good. Could you clarify that for me? Very polite.
Or, would you mind explaining this part again? What's the next step from here?
How would you recommend we move forward?
All very professional.
Yeah, direct but polite ways to ask. And the advice was simple. Practice saying them slowly, clearly but warmly.
There was that specific practice idea, too. Just to clarify, are we aligned on the deadline? Right. Try saying it stiffly first, then again with natural confidence and warmth. That confident sound comes from being clear, but also having the right tone.
Okay, so we've covered types, pitch, tone, rhythm, formal versus casual. Now, what about follow-up questions? The materials seem to really emphasize those.
Oh, yeah, they're powerful. Maybe one of the most impactful things for actually building connection.
The source put it really simply. Asking one question is good. Asking a follow-up, even better. Why is that, though?
Because the follow-up proves you were actually listening to the answer you just got.
Oh, okay.
It shows your curiosity wasn't just superficial. You want to know more, you care about the details or how the person felt. It signals real interest.
Takes the conversation deeper, doesn't it? Not just surface-level Q&A.
Exactly. And the examples were great. Oh, really? Why's that? Or, that's interesting. What happened after?
Wait, how did that feel? I like that one.
No, wait, what'd you say? Oh, all of these grab onto something the person just said and ask for more.
You see it in that conversation snippet. Person A, I quit my job last week.
And person B doesn't just go, oh.
Right. They say, whoa, really? What made you decide that? Yeah. Oh, really? Shows surprise. And then the what made you decide that is the perfect follow-up. It's driven by genuine curiosity.
Which was the main tip, wasn't it? Let your natural curiosity lead you when asking follow-ups. Don't force it.
So to kind of wrap all this together, the material offered some practical ways to practice this stuff, like that mini conversation dialogue.
Yeah, that was useful. It shows how the different parts fit together. A, so how's the new place? B, pretty good so far.
A, nice. What do you like about it? B, the view. And it's super quiet.
Hey, it's awesome. You thinking of staying long? See? It flows.
Good.
What question? Follow-up.
And the exercise idea was great. Practice that same dialogue, but change the tone. Try it friendly, then formal, maybe excited or supportive.
Really makes you feel how delivery changes everything.
Totally. And then there were the quickfire drills, just rapid practice.
Right, designed to build speed and accuracy with pitch and tone.
Like just for rising pitch. Do you like it? Is she here? Can we start? Bam, bam, bam.
And for falling pitch, what's your name? Where are they from? Why did you leave?
Quick repetitions.
And that one for shifting from neutral to curious. Okay, how come? What's going on? Practicing that shift.
And the key, as they said, is fast and clear. Repetition makes it automatic.
Wow, okay. That was a pretty thorough deep dive into asking better questions based on that source material. We hit the main types: pitch
The
patterns,
huge role of tone.
how to keep conversations going, invite stories,
The rhythm of casual chat versus professional settings.
and the power of really listening and asking follow-up questions.
Yeah, it's really clear that thinking consciously about how we ask, not just what we ask, can be a total game changer for connecting with people.
Definitely. And the material gave some solid homework ideas, too, like actually record yourself asking questions with different tones. That could be revealing.
Or practice a mini dialogue and focus specifically on adding good follow-ups. And just listening more actively to native speakers, maybe in interviews, conversations, paying attention to how they sound curious. Trying to mimic that.
Active practice is where it sticks.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If the questions we ask really shape the answers, the feelings, the connections we get back, how might changing how you ask, focusing on that pitch, tone, rhythm, and really listening for the follow-up actually change the conversations you have every day and maybe deepen the connections you build? Something to think about.